All right, how y'all doing? I'm Nia Rose. I'm here with the legendary Shaugn Cooper. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. It's a little warmer than I like, but I feel like right here is the perfect temperature because like
Yeah.
it's not a lot of sun hitting us. We got the water behind us. It's a little windy.
Yeah.
Wind is starting to pick up while we're recording too,
Yeah.
and
We made sure of it. We had to set the vibes just perfectly for you.
and y'all got the wind reflectors on the mics. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Top tier equipment over here.
Yeah.
So, how does it feel to be a local celebrity?
I mean, I wouldn't even say that I'm a local celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the term celebrity gives a connotation like as untouchable,
Mm.
and it's like people know where I'm at, and I feel like I'm very approachable, and over the
Yeah.
years I've tried to make sure that I'm approachable so people can understand that like I'm one of y'all. Like no matter where I go, no matter if I go to Europe for 2 months or if
Yeah.
I'm in Africa or whenever I come back, I'm still one of y'all. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Y'all my people. I never wanted to get an illusion that I was untouchable and that people
Yeah.
couldn't just come up to me and just ask me things.
And I feel like that's very rare because I had that experience with you from the beginning. You know, I think a lot of people see you, they see what you're doing, and any other person could have been like, "Oh, you can't talk to me unless you got a certain level of success." But I feel like you've always been not only approachable, but willing to create with another person, willing to collaborate, whatever level, whatever business, whatever you got going on. Has it always been that? Has that been an intention that you set from the beginning, or?
Yeah. So yes, right. Yes and no. I mean, luckily before I got, I guess, as many eyes as I have on me now,
Yeah.
like I was an avid reader. Like in high school, 48 Laws of Power, The Seat of the Soul, Gary Zukov, like was very much so into Eastern philosophy as well.
Yeah.
Read a little bit of Western philosophy, studied a little bit of Buddhism as well.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite books, The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukov, he breaks down the difference between reverence and respect.
Mm,
And when you when you're a fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional person, you operate off of reverence and not respect because respect creates a hierarchy. And it made sense when I went to Africa, you were swimming in the same lake as a hippo, but it's like you would never invade their space because for one, they'll chew your ass up because
yeah.
it's one of the strongest animals in their ecosystem.
Yeah.
And it was just always dope how we would be like in the same situations as like almost like even as like like it'll be monkeys in the street or like if it was like a cow in the street, like people would stop in the road and wait for the
Yeah.
cows to pass.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always a sign of respect and not even respect, but just reverence. Like
Yeah.
what
Just
I took,
honoring the other.
yeah, just honoring your ecosystem, like just understanding that
Mm.
everybody serve a purpose. Like
Wow,
it's
we
just
getting some wisdom right here. I'm
I feel
so
like an old
excited.
man.
You're already dropping gems. I'm so excited to speak with you. Do you find like you've experienced any pet peeves or any frustrations because you're so approachable? Do you feel like people just come
Yes,
at you anyway?
absolutely, absolutely, and it's something that I've been going through. Ooh, excuse me. Lately, I mean, it's something
Yeah.
I've been going through lately, and just people constantly testing my patience and me constantly having to remind people of my boundaries
Yeah. What
and
are your boundaries? Because maybe people don't know. You know, I feel
yeah.
like people
So
have different boundaries. People have different yeses and nos. What do you
yeah,
feel like are your boundaries?
so definitely like just not tolerating like disrespect for for myself, for my
Yeah.
family, for my friends as well. So it's just also too like I feel like another boundary of mine is just like do not hit my phone before 10 a.m. like talking about business
Yeah.
because I don't really want to be bothered with it. And
Yeah.
like after a certain time, 6 p.m. usually, like I don't really be trying to take business inquiries as well,
Mhm.
just because like I'm trying like ever since I was a child, like ever since I was like a teenager, I've always been trying to kind of model myself as like the man I would be if I had children, if I had a like basically if I had a family,
Mhm.
and I feel like it's good practice when you start that young because when you get to an age like you can't really it's not really an adjustment
Yeah.
as much as like boundaries go and as much as like how to like carry yourself. And I feel like I'm gonna definitely have to learn things
Right.
when I do start a family. But
Right.
just
If
off
you have
the
those boundaries now of like, I'm not working after this time, it won't be hard when you have a
yeah,
family. You can
yeah,
have that time with your kids, with your family, and all that
yeah, it's
stuff.
just interesting too, like with like just being in a relationship, and
Hmm.
it's just the dynamic is just different when because I ain't gonna lie, like for a while I've been kind of riding around like solo, like I've been by
Yeah.
myself for a while now,
Yeah.
and just being in a relationship and being engaged, like you have to make time
Hmm.
for your partner, like
Yes.
or your partner will leave you, or it just will not be fun anymore, and
Jada, you gonna leave him? You gonna leave him if he don't make time for you?
I mean, yeah, it's just yeah. Like I already know, like
Yeah, that's
it's a
real.
conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's a conversation that the both of us have had to have with each other. Just like setting a time that okay, this is when this shit comes to an end.
Yes.
So we can watch Ozark, or we can watch King of the Hill,
Yes.
or we can read. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm so excited, Shaugn. You're really making me so happy. You're just giving me all the juice right now. Can you just talk about that? When did you decide I'm ready for this journey, for this roller coaster of being in partnership, being in relationship, taking that leap and proposing to Jada in front of a sold out show with Ari
Yeah,
Lennox? What was going on in
yeah.
your
I
mind? You
mean,
know what I'm saying? And of course, there was a history, there was a
can I
friendship.
curse?
Yes, do what you.
Child, I was about to shit myself. Cause I have real bad I have real bad stage fright. Like I've
You and
had
me
stage
both.
fright my whole life. And I was just like, okay, for the most part, like our relationship has been private up to this point.
Yeah,
Because like I started to learn the older I got, the more I wanted my private life to be private and my public life to be public. Like people know things about me publicly that they don't know about me privately that you would think
interesting.
they should know publicly, but it's just like nah, like I feel like when you at the beginning of something, I feel like it's something sacred. Like it's like almost like
Yeah,
having a child. Like I feel like we was in the beginning of our relationship when we
yeah,
first got together, and I didn't necessarily need to hear the noise outside of our relationship,
yeah,
especially since we both work in the same field, and like also because I manage her. Like
yeah.
ever since then, I have been damn near getting attacked by people. Like it's really
Really?
crazy. Like people who I considered as friends, they would just tell me that I didn't have Jada's best interest in mind, or
What?
that I was being controlling. And it's just these are things that like we came to the conclusion that these are things that they think are going on,
Yeah,
and that's the thing when you are public. When you're public, like and you show PDA
yeah,
and when like I understood that when I proposed on the stage in front of 1,300 people, like this is what would come with it, especially with it being recorded and then it being on Instagram and
right.
multiple people reposting it. Like I've had people block me, like I've had people
Yeah,
like it's just a lot that come with it. Like even like sometimes we'll get into like a conversation and people would always try to like people would try to tear me down at times to
yeah,
build her up, and we've had to have even conversations. It's really weird. It's really weird, like it's really weird, and we've had to have conversations about it, and we've
yeah.
had to understand. Like, look, we have an understanding, and that's all that matters.
What made you choose the route? Y'all were private. Some people who didn't know you probably didn't even know y'all were in a relationship. What made you take that route of like just publicly displaying this affirmation of love and commitment? What made you do that route?
Because I wanted to do something really nice, because like
Yeah,
I feel like I hadn't been public with her up until that point,
yeah.
and I
You
was
just
just
wanted to
like,
show her off.
yeah, and like also too, like I like for my big moments to be really big in my life, like
Hmm.
because I mean also I proposed to her on my mother's birthday, which
Yeah,
was also Ari's last sold out
yeah,
show, which
yeah,
was March 29th, and then like
yeah,
yeah, like even down to the ring getting from Tiffany's, and like I even ordered the Tiffany forces, but they came like 3 days late
yeah,
because of the eBay authentication, which was just like a whole situation. So it's just
yeah,
yeah, like when I have big moments, I like to have really big moments.
yeah. To commemorate everything.
Yeah, just to make it all make sense, right? To tie it all in, and yeah, I
I got
mean,
you.
I would say I'm a high risk taker, so it's just I think that just goes for everything and anything in my life, and I think this is why I live the life I live now, and I
Yeah.
have the freedom that I have now because of just the risk
Mm,
that I've taken, and just how boldly I've lived,
yeah.
like in the past, like with just me doing things.
That brings us to our next question of like, you've been in the game what, how long? 10 years?
I think like about 10 or 11 years,
More than a
like
decade.
2013. 2012 actually. I got my first check in
2012.
2012. Yeah, for photography.
2012. Has there ever been a moment of just like, I don't think I should do this anymore, or maybe I should get a full time job, or like, has it always been like I am a photographer? What was just that mindset that has you in the game? A decade
So
long.
I will say that photography is one of like the only things I was good at because I've been through different mediums. Like I used to draw, like I used to blog, I used to do HTML scripts. Like photography was that one thing that was really good for me. And
Yeah.
then I realized that I was more so passionate about people. Cause like just to go back, like the reason why I got into photography was because of music. Like just walking in the record stores and just trying just looking at vinyl records and looking at the portraiture on vinyl records, and then also being on blogs and
Mhm.
hip hop blogs, just seeing like the artwork people would use, and
Mhm.
just how it wasn't a bunch of like just graphics, like it was actual portraits of people. And I wanted to make music when I was younger, but I didn't really know how to make music, and I don't think I really had the patience to like, because I tried to learn like two different instruments. I tried to learn the trumpet and the
Mhm.
violin,
It wasn't
and
working.
it just wasn't working for me.
Mhm.
And photography is that one thing because my parents were very supportive in like me having hobbies,
Mhm.
and man, they poured so much into me, and photography is that one thing that really fucking stuck.
Yeah.
Like it really stuck, and I really had a lot of people support me in the beginning that I went to middle school with, that I went to high school with, that I went to college with,
Yeah.
and like even elementary school. Like I had like probably 3 or 4 friends in elementary school, and they would always allow me to take pictures of them,
Yeah.
and it's just
So basically, that support,
yeah,
you were just in flow.
yeah. Basically,
Yeah.
like I was just always in flow, and then like also like photography helped me cope with my mother's passing at a young age.
Yeah.
Like my mother was like one of the first people to ever really believe in me, for real, for real. Like my
Yeah.
mother and my father were like the first people to like really believe in me. Like my mother and my father bought me my first camera.
Yeah.
Like my mother, like the year she passed, she actually went into cardiac arrest on Christmas, and
Yeah.
she went into a diabetic like coma after a diabetic seizure. And her last gifts for me were like a 50 millimeter lens for my camera to give me some bokeh, and also like a clothes printing machine so I can make shirts with my pictures on it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's love.
and it's just ever since then I was just like, okay, I'm not only doing this for myself. Like, I got to make this make sense
Yeah.
because yeah,
And speaking of, not just doing it for yourself, you made a scholarship in your mom's honor, the Tanya Cooper
yeah,
Scholarship. Can you just talk about that and what
yeah.
inspired that?
So I mean, what inspired that, to be honest, is just I remember how my mother used to help me, and it's just I don't know. It felt like I had to pay it forward.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like I had to pay it forward. It felt right, and it's just unfortunate this year we didn't really hit our goal.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that yes, like in the past we have like surpassed goals by almost like 100%. But I'm realizing that people are going through kind of tough times. They coming out of a tough time. So it's like the
Yeah.
money that everybody's making. I'm not sure if they're afraid that they're just not going to get it back as quick, which may also be the truth. But this year we didn't really meet our goals. So
Do you think y'all marketed well or
honestly, I don't even think I had a chance to market it well because,
got
like,
you?
yeah, I just had a lot on my plate the last couple of months because, like I said, I also manage Jada as well. So it's like just trying to make sure that she's straight and that she's getting to the next level, and like also just making sure that I'm able to at least stay afloat while I focus on Jada and just the scholarship. Like, I don't think that I marketed it as
It wasn't that
well as I
priority
could.
this time.
Yeah, it wasn't as high of a priority, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, I ain't giving up though. I'm gonna come back
Right.
next year. I mean, even the money that we did make, like, I'm agreeing to just, pay for a year of Adobe for the recipients, just
Mhm.
for their time as well, and just for everybody that donated. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
something at least, right? Like a year Adobe. I think that's a good deal.
No, I think that's a blessing regardless, even that being on your heart. And
Yeah,
you kind of touched on it a little bit, but as you're, getting more successful, taking on more responsibilities, sometimes something is going to fall. Sometimes something isn't going to get all your attention, and that's part of the process, and you just have to keep going and adjust
yeah,
and, do it differently. How are
yeah,
you able to navigate that relationship with Jada, fiance, partner, business partner, and
yeah.
now managing her? Like, how are you able to, like, are there lines that have to be crossed, or like, okay, we're only talking about this at this time, or
Yeah, nah, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. So first, we make sure we check in. Like, I don't care if it's your partner, like whoever it is in your life. If you ever want to vent to somebody, or you need advice, or if you ever need to talk to somebody, you're supposed to always ask them what type of headspace they in. I was taught
Yeah.
that by like my first therapist. He was just like, yeah, like you probably need to get in the habit of just asking people what type of headspace are they in, and are they in
Yeah.
a space to receive whatever you got to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just really big on that, just communication, just making
Yeah.
sure that we're actually receiving what we're telling each other. And
Mhm.
that just goes for anybody in my life. Like before I dump, or before I even talk business with people, I always
Mhm.
ask them like, is this the right moment for that?
Yeah.
Cause like a lot of times, if it ain't, people just gonna get upset with you or frustrated, and
Yeah.
you just not gonna get an answer back because they remember you as this person that was frustrating or irritating them.
Yeah. And you feel like Jada has been able to communicate that with you. What were some things that stood out to you in Jada?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, she's very understanding, and I feel like we both learn from each other. We catch on really quick to like adjusting. Like,
Mm.
ooh, excuse me. So like, this is like new for us. Like I've never really been with a woman this long as
Mhm.
well, and it's just a lot of this is just new for us. Like I've never been with a partner. Well, I've tried the thing where I've dated in my field, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that I was a part of the issue, like because of
Mhm.
communication. Like I wasn't properly communicating, and it's just I don't know. Like a lot of the times I be trying to point my finger back at myself to figure out how I'm
Right.
the issue. Like that's my biggest problem solving technique is just I mean, if you want to be a real nigga, you gotta figure out how to figure out. You gonna have to figure out how to make sure that you know that you're the issue and the
Mhm.
problem, and you gotta understand from that person's point of view most of the time.
Right.
And I mean, sometimes it just comes down to people just not fucking with you, and that's and
Right.
that's
Right.
okay,
Right.
and that's
It's just not
okay.
a fit.
And then it just come down sometimes to people just being disrespectful.
Mm.
And it
Yeah.
just come down to sometimes you gotta smack a motherfucker because that's the only language
You
that
be
they
hitting people,
speaking.
Shaugn?
No, I don't hit people. I don't hit people. I don't before I be
Yeah.
I leave before I do that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But if it come down to me defending myself, you got some people that just sometimes you gotta speak in their language, and their language sometimes is just smacking a motherfucker.
How do you defend yourself in this industry? I'm in your close friends, and I've seen you talk about just different deals that didn't go the way you expected, or people
Yeah.
coming at you incorrectly. How do you pitch yourself? How do you know your worth? How do you negotiate these deals? Like, that takes some balls, really. How are you able to do that, and how have you improved? Because I know, young Shaugn, 5 years
Yeah.
in, wasn't able to do what you're doing now.
Yeah. I would just say relationships and rapport. Relationships and rapport is the biggest thing you want to focus on when you are an entrepreneur. Like, if a motherfucker take you out golfing, do not talk business, just golf with them. Like, if a
Mm.
motherfucker take you out, I don't know, somewhere that it's like an activity for you to be
Just
like
be
present in,
present.
just be present in that. Like, your relationships rely on your rapport, like that you have
That's
with
good.
people, and that's a mistake that I've made in the past by just being this guy that's gung ho on business. When it's like in actuality, if I just become friends with these people, like it'll make a lot more sense. Like this would be a client for the long run, and it's just it even comes down to having issues with clients, right?
That's a
Like
gem right there.
it's a lot easier to deal with somebody that you have a rapport with versus just like a random person. Like
Yeah.
people have like tried to curse me out in the past,
Crazy.
and I would just be confused. But it's like these people don't know me from a can of paint, and it's just I would have to like dial it back, and I just be like, okay, this person don't know me for one. For two, am I going to tolerate this?
Yeah.
And you gotta understand, like situations are very tailored to like that situation. So it's just like some situations I don't even respond because like I just feel like I'm being disrespected,
Yeah.
like just blatant disrespect. Like I don't know, like it just be weird. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But it's just I choose not to respond because I know that in any response that I have, it's gonna be a negative response to come along with it when I'm really trying to get to the bottom of the problem.
Yeah.
And it's just like I had a friend earlier this year, not even early this year, like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, that hurt me really bad.
Yeah.
Hurt me really bad, and they was comparing my work to Jada's, and I'm just like, the way how you doing this is really is fucking with me because I look at you as a genuine friend, and you making this out to be something that it ain't. And it's just like we just trying to get to the bottom of it. You telling me that like, oh, we can discuss this in person, and you yelling at me. I'm like, I know where you from and I know what that means.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever wanted to get there because I got love for you.
Yeah.
Like it never made any sense for us to be fighting. Like it
Where
don't
did
make
that even
sense.
come from? Is that coming from their own insecurity? Is that coming from they're not feeling like you're delivering or whatever they
I don't
ask?
know. I don't know. To be honest, Nia, like straight up, like I don't be knowing what people be thinking. I know what I
Yeah.
be thinking though.
Yeah.
I know what I be thinking, and it's just I don't be knowing. Like when I really don't know what you on, I be
Yeah.
like, okay,
You
I
gotta step back a little
don't.
bit.
Yeah, you a bit of a wild card. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need people in my life that I can't like people that are unpredictable
Yeah.
when it comes to just how they carry themselves. Like if you could just be cool one minute and then just be upset and volatile the next,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna say I'm gonna cut you off, but I'm gonna need to put some space
Yeah.
between us because I know with me, I'm a really sensitive person,
Yeah.
and I be taking things to heart sometimes, and
Me
that's what I
too.
got. That's what I got to work on,
Yeah.
because I be feeling like I be getting disrespected. And in actuality, I mean it's just business.
Yeah.
So
Or
it's
it could be
just,
both,
or
but
yeah, I'm about to say, or it could be both, right? But it's just life is a response game, and you learn the more successful you get is based off of how you respond to situations,
yeah.
not how you react. Like reacting is just getting out the way, but responding is like knowing whether you can go to the left or the right, and then having a plan when you go to the left or the right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm real big on. Like life is just a response game. It's not really a reaction game. And I feel
Yeah.
like most people, most people when they think it's about themselves or when they operate on a level where they just kind of like see themselves, they don't understand that the way how they can react can affect so many other people.
Exactly.
But when you learn that this shit just really ain't about you, that the way how you can respond or the way how you react can like actually affect a bunch of people, you learn to respond and you learn, okay, if I want to move this way, this may fuck up a potential relationship with this person and this person.
Right.
The more,
Consequences. Yeah.
yeah, the more esteemed you get in your field and in your expertise will work. Like it's politics. Like I tell anybody that's up and coming, like man, the photography is cool, but when you learn people and you study sociology, it becomes a lot easier for you to be successful because I know for a fact I'm not the most talented photographer or videographer, but it's just I know how to get back because I know, like I've studied people, I've studied sociology, like I read, and when you learn the laws of human nature, it's a lot easier to deal with people versus just
He
going
said,
back and
I
forth.
read. That's how I get the money. I read.
Yeah, I be telling people that though, like self development is the best thing you can do as an entrepreneur, like in your downtime.
I love that. Has there ever been a decision that you made where you were kind of at a crossroads, where you turned something down and it didn't make sense, or you accepted something and it didn't make sense, but your intuition was like, no, we need to go this route, and it paid off? Was there a time where you had to do that?
Uh,
Or it's kind of always just made sense along the way?
I mean, yeah, it always makes sense because like
Really?
yeah, it always makes sense, right? It always makes sense because I don't really look at like my whole outlook on life is a little different, right? Like forgot who told me when I was younger at a young age, they was just like, look, if you want to live an impactful life, you got to live your life like as a camera following you 24/7 and you are starring in your own biopic. And ever since then, like I've been doing that. Like whatever decision I make, I know I'm gonna have to live with, and I know whatever decision come with that decision or whatever result come with that decision, it's gonna come down to me basically having to make the best of the outcome.
Yeah.
And I'm a motherfucking alchemist. Like I feel like I can do whatever I want, and I feel like I can make any situation make sense
Yeah.
because it just always kind of been like that. Like I always been blessed with that. Like I know that, I know that in everything I do, I know God got my back. I know my ancestors got my back. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that they ain't passed for no reason. Like I know my mother watching over me. I know my grandfather. I know my uncle watching over me. I know the ancestors that I don't even know. I know my honorable ancestors. I know they watching over me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like no matter what I do, I'm gonna be protected as long as I stay in accordance with my higher self.
Yeah.
More so, that's what I be trying to focus on. Just making sure that even if a move don't make sense, does this like who am I serving with this with this who am I serving with this decision or with this outcome? Like,
Yeah.
am I serving my higher self or am I serving my flesh?
Yeah.
Like that's what I be having to keep in mind whenever, you know what I'm saying, like the more esteemed you get, the more decisions you have to make that'll affect a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, I be trying my best to be as diplomatic as possible. It's
That's
just trying to make it make
beautiful.
sense, trying to make it make sense.
That's so beautiful. I appreciate you sharing that. What would you say to people like me who, you're in a part-time job or you're in a full-time job and you're trying to navigate that and your passion and your gifts, you know?
Man, look, keep going. Go crazy, go stupid. Like, nah, straight up though. Nah, straight up. Keep going though. Like, keep mashing. I would say you definitely need that money.
Right.
Well, I mean, you don't need it for real. Like, you can make it make sense, but it's just gonna be extremely difficult. Like, also the way how I look at this, cause like I ain't got the most sense. I'm gonna just tell y'all now. Like, I don't have the most sense. I be looking at this shit like a video game.
Yeah.
Like, you got three roads. You can either go easy, you can go medium, or you can go hard.
That's pretty. That's funny.
Or you can go extreme. Fuck it, we can take it there. Like straight up. Like I know some homies that jump right off the porch. Like man, I ain't got no money saved up, but I'm about to quit this job and I'm about to try to become a full time whatever they want. And hey, it may not work out, but it's just they tried. Like
Yeah.
just try. But I mean, I'm not saying quit your job. It just depends on your tolerance. Like it depends on the support you have. Like I know that when I first started, I've never really had a job because I started out just from stocks. Like I had stock. Like I had Nike stock, Apple, Bank of America, Capital One. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I had stock. Like I had a stock portfolio that funded. It was supposed to fund me through school, but I dropped out and I put the money towards my photography. And it's just when I first started out, I had a learning curve. Well, I had a curve because I was working with the best fucking equipment at the time.
Yeah.
Because I had money to pay for it.
Yeah.
So it's just everybody life different though. Like everybody life different though, and it's just I don't know, man. Just look at your life and just figure out what serves you best. But just don't be scared. Whatever you do, don't be scared. Like pray over that. Like
I love that. I love that. You mentioned so you started off with stocks. That's how you funded your initial investment, your
yeah,
initial craft.
yeah.
If you don't mind sharing, what's the ratio of the way that you spend your money? The stocks, the investment in equipment,
Now,
the traveling,
now,
the cars, the what's so if you could give
look.
a pie chart of how you spend your money,
So
what would it look like?
so your assets supposed to pay for your liabilities. So the
Yeah.
cars, anything that like, well, I mean the cars are assets essentially, right?
Mhm.
Because I mean when you buying right hand drive vehicles, like these vehicles appreciate over time.
Okay, got
Like
you.
I
But
might have
not
bought
all
it.
cars do.
Yeah, not
My Honda's not appreciated.
see like with like that, like I would just buy a bucket. Like I spent $2,000 on a bucket, and I mean
Right.
that's an asset essentially, because if you spend $2,000 on a bucket, that's gonna get you 30 miles to the gallon, $20 to fill your tank.
Mhm.
Every time you leave in the house, you making at least $100.
Got you.
You pocketing 80 if you don't have a note. But if you have a note, I would say don't get a note. Don't get a note.
All right, define this pie chart for me. What's on how you spending everything?
So right now, how I'm spending everything, right? Like I'm in a real weird place, right? So stocks, like savings, like a good 25%.
Okay, savings includes stocks.
Stocks, life insurance policies, like just shit like that,
Got
like
you.
just emergency money, like
Got
you know what I'm
you.
saying. And the rest is going to equipment for real, for real.
Mhm.
Like anybody that know me, like I spend my last on equipment. Like
Yeah.
if I see, like I will spend 80% to 90% of my money on equipment,
Really.
because when you have really good equipment, your life becomes a lot easier.
Mhm.
So it's just also it's a tax write off.
Mhm. That's
Tax
true.
write
That's
off, you
true.
can write that shit off on your taxes all day.
Yeah.
So it's just I be having fun. Like I just be like, fuck it. Like I'm gonna get it back, and it's just gonna make sense because my work is gonna get better with the equipment that I buy. Because I mean, you get to a point where you hit a ceiling, right? When you dealing with like
Yeah,
a
that's
crop
true.
sensor camera, you get to a point where you get to a point where you hit a ceiling where your lenses are not the sharpest. Ooh, excuse me.
Mhm.
But but yeah, I just be spending a lot of money on equipment, dog. Like me and
Yeah.
my fiance, we spend a shitload on equipment.
I hear that all
Like,
the time. People who work with you, they be like, they spending $1,000 on cameras. I hear that every time people who
yeah,
work with
we
me.
yeah.
And are you finding you're getting that return on investment with the
Yeah,
work?
hell
You
yeah,
just
I'm still
rock
here.
with City, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Congrats on that.
hell yeah, we still here and we able to still have motion. Like, and the thing is, we don't take it personal either when we
Yeah.
don't have motion. We just go back to the drawing board. Like I be telling niggas, like,
Mm.
if you don't
Can you
take,
say that again? Take that again.
I don't even know what I
They didn't hear
said.
it in the back.
Look,
You don't take it personal when
yeah,
you don't have
yeah, when you
motion. We
don't have
just go
motion.
back to the drawing board.
Yeah, like I said, like life is just a responding game. Like just you gotta do shit differently. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I be telling people all the time, if you take the compliments, if you take them personal, you don't take the criticisms personal as well.
Yeah.
And it's just like while we appreciate the compliments, we don't take it personal because yeah, I don't want to take the criticisms personal. Like I would hate to feel away, you know, if somebody was to say, "Hey, you could do this better," and I would just be like, "What make you say that?" And it's just
Right.
like, nah,
Just take
they
it with a
just
grain of salt. Yeah.
yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. Like it might make sense. You know what I'm saying? It might make sense.
Yeah.
Like I had some of my best criticisms come from somebody that's not even a photographer, Nicole Penindo.
Mm-hmm.
I probably didn't butcher her last name. I'm so sorry.
Sorry,
Nicole
Nicole.
is married now. Like I have not talked to Nicole in a long time, but she helped me out at a really fucking young age. Like
Yeah.
it's like probably 17, 18 years old shooting for Nicole, and she would just be like, "Yo, you editing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like calm
Relax.
down. Like
Right.
relax a little bit.
That's
Tone it
love.
down."
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. And because of that, it's just I was able to come up with my own
Improve.
style, and I was able to get better clients because, like the clients that I wanted, they needed a certain look, like not an over edited look,
Right. They
and it
wanted
just made
something more
sense.
natural.
Yeah, and it just makes sense.
The last time you went to the drawing board, what did you have to adjust? Like, oh, I need to do this, or what was
Shit,
it?
I was at the draw. I go to the drawing board every day. I go to the drawing board every day, like
This is
real
so
shit,
good.
real shit. I go to the drawing board every day because I be fucking up,
Yeah.
straight up.
What did you learn today? You went to the drawing board today.
Look,
What did it say to you?
I learned that I need to figure out how to market myself a little better,
Yeah.
and that I need to figure out a way to increase my capacity, which means I may need to change up my diet or just also I need to lose a little bit of weight because I gained a lot of weight. Just happy weight, just being in a relationship, you know what I'm saying?
Just
Being on
in
tour.
love. Just being
You know
in
what I'm saying?
love.
Yeah, and it's just, yeah, like that stuff plays a factor though. It
Yeah.
plays a factor in your productivity when it comes to your
That's a
work
fact.
as an entrepreneur. Because, like, we got to get up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning for a call time, and
Yeah.
you can't do that. That's an issue, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just when you're not in shape, that shit fuck with you mentally too, and it fuck with your confidence, especially if you
That's
was
a
in shape
fact.
before.
Yeah.
So, it's just,
It's a
yeah.
process.
Yeah, it's a process, and just being okay with the fact that it's a process, that it ain't gonna happen overnight.
Facts.
But like also not going soft on yourself to be like, oh, it'll happen eventually. It's just
Right.
like
It's
nah.
a balance. You got to put in that work, and you have to release.
Yeah.
Release from the
Yeah.
outcome and be patient.
Nah, straight up, you gotta deserve a soft life. Like you gotta deserve a soft life. Like I tell people that all the time. Like
You have to deserve a soft
you
life.
have
But
to
aren't
work.
we inherently deserving?
Capitalism,
Yeah.
capitalism.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the thing about capitalism. Yes, we are inherently deserving of a soft life,
Yeah.
but the way how capitalism work is
Yeah.
just like, you still gotta make rent.
Yeah, that's
Like
a fact.
you still like if you ain't got. I feel like if you ain't got 7 months of your life's expenses saved up, you should not be chilling. Chill. Do not pay the motherfucking bills. I don't care if you 3 months ahead. 7 months.
Yeah.
7 months is a good way for you to chill. Like
Take
I have
a
not
breather.
been on vacation yet.
Yeah.
I have not been on vacation yet. Like straight up. Like I haven't been on vacation yet, and I've been doing this for a decade, almost a decade and a half now.
Yeah.
Like I have not been on vacation yet. I'm constantly trying to learn. Like I feel like I don't deserve that yet, but with me being in a relationship, my partner is just like, motherfucker, we need to go on vacation.
Right,
So
I need to rest.
that's gonna happen. That's gonna
Yeah.
happen. But with me though, it's just I don't be feeling comfortable with just chilling. Like especially
The work's
if
gonna be there when you come back, though, Shaugn. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, but at the same time we trying to leverage. We ain't hustling. You get to a point where hustling get old and you want to leverage. Like how can I go from making 2K to 10K? How can I go from 10K to 30K in a month? Like that's what we on, and enough is gonna be enough when I'm not getting paid for my time. Like I still get people asking me how much I charge hourly. I'm
So,
trying to get to a point
for
where it's
your
just
quality. For
half day, full day. I want to get to a point where I can turn down I can turn down a bag because I need to pick my daughter up from school, or I need
Yeah.
to pick my son up from school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
time is more valuable than money because time is the only currency that you can reach into your wallet and you can spend and you don't know how much you have left.
Yeah.
Like, who's to say you was to shoot for $50 an hour for the last 3 hours of your life?
Yeah.
Was it really worth $50 an hour?
No.
Like, I try to tell people like time is the currency that you really want to work for. Like, like I when I negotiate, I always tell people like my time is not necessarily for sale, and also if I can do this in a lot shorter time period than you would pay somebody that would charge you by the hour, you should be paying me more,
Exactly.
straight up, because I mean we done the project.
Exactly.
Like,
Well, I appreciate you so much, Shaugn. You've just been dropping so many gems. I'm really excited for everybody to see this. To close it off, can you let me know the best advice you got and the worst advice you got? Just like
man,
real brief, like one sentence
the
each.
best advice I got for you,
Yeah.
the best advice. Look, damn, I'm burnt out.
It's okay.
I ain't gonna hold you.
How
The
about the
worst,
worst?
the worst advice I got you, when they tell you to work hard and you're gonna be successful one day, don't listen to them. Leverage, hustle and leverage. Like, get to a point where,
Yeah.
okay, you hustle for the first 5 or 6 years of your business. It's time to leverage now. It's time to get bigger clients. It's time for you to
Yeah.
teach. It's time for you to become an infopreneur, not necessarily an entrepreneur. Like, you can still be an entrepreneur, but it's time for you to learn something new, and it's time for you to train people. You know what I'm saying? It's time for you to train people for them to take up the mantle. Because I've also learned that in order for you to be really blessed in this life, you have to become a blessing for you to be for order for you to be blessed, like real shit. Like,
Yeah.
the biggest moments I've had in my life is because I've helped people before. Like, not off no, oh, I helped just countless people before, but like, no, I literally be helping somebody, and then all of a sudden, a week later, I get a really fucking big opportunity,
Yeah.
right? And you got to do it. You got to do it from your heart, and you got to do it not with that in mind.
Right. Just genuine giving.
Yeah, or the universe will spank you. If you expect anything back in return, the universe will probably spank you.
Got you.
Yeah, you
I
don't
love
want to expect
that.
shit. Yeah, you don't want to expect shit because when you, like me, I got low expectations of everybody.
Yeah.
Straight up, I got low expectations of everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Shaugn. This was amazing. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning
Look,
in. This is
appreciate
for
y'all.
me.
Yeah.
I'm Nia Rose.
Thank you, Nia.
Shaugn Cooper.
Also, amazing like I said, one of the best models, hands down, I've ever worked with. I've worked with modeling agencies. Like, I want you to just keep going, for real
Thank
shit.
you.
You're gonna be on the big billboards if you ain't already. I'm not sure if you signed any NDAs. You know what I'm saying? What's the cameraman name again? What's his name?
Teddy.
Teddy. Shout out to Teddy for pulling up.
Shout out to Teddy.
You know what I'm
Shout out
saying?
Jada.
Shout out Jada for riding in this hot ass truck with me on the way here.
Right. I'm waiting for the invite, y'all. You know, the invite to the
Look.
wedding.
Look, we might fuck around having it in Islands Pond. Look, we ain't start. Look, we supposed to be doing it next July. We ain't even start planning yet because we've been so busy. Look, we gonna make time now.
Calling all wedding planners.
Look, we gonna figure it out.
All right, y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all next time. This is for me. I'm Nia Rose.
Look, peace.